animation Nick Rogers, game director Michael Brooks, and lead designer Andrew Fletcher. Oh, come on, make him step around you. That's, yeah, okay, great stuff. So, firstly, Jurassic World. Yeah. What an amazing thing to work on. Did you ever think that you would be working on something like this when you started at Frontier?
Nothing quite on this scale, I have to say. I mean, I love the films. I love dinosaurs as a young kid. I imagine most people do. Had the toys, read books about them. But it wasn't until Jurassic Park that I actually saw them kind of brought to life properly. I think with films before then, there were bad guys and monsters that tended to appear every now and again. But when you saw that amazing scene with the herds going across by the lake, I mean, that just brought it to life for me then, and that's it. I just fell in love with them ever since. And now, working on the game. How cool is that?
Amazing. Yeah, really, really cool.
It's awesome. Yeah, I love dinos like Mike here as a kid, had the books, had the top trumps, had all the Jurassic Park merch, and, when the film came out, it was just the blockbuster of that era, it was so amazing. Saw it multiple times, and to be working on the game, I mean, from a design perspective, there's so many great, rich themes in that series to pick out and to, hopefully let players enjoy for themselves. And then there's the spectacle, which, you can't beat dinosaurs for spectacle, can you?
Yeah, and I'm absolutely over the moon to be here. I mean, when I first saw the film all the way back when I was 10 years old, it was absolutely blew my mind, and it's the main reason I actually went on to become an animator. So I used to see the dinosaurs come to life in the old Ray Harryhausen films, but I'd never seen anything quite like what they managed to get across in Jurassic Park. And obviously, in sort of 1993, CGI wasn't really a big thing at all. So I had no idea what was going on. And as I started to learn more and more animation, more and more about animation, I just got absolutely obsessed with it. And I already completely loved dinosaurs. Yeah. So I just worked and worked at it. And here I am, sort of 20-odd years later, working on a Jurassic World game. So yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. It really is a dream come true for me.
A dream come true, ladies and gentlemen. Head of animation Nick Rogers, living his dream at Frontier Developments. Everyone's living the dream at Frontier Developments.
I'm over the moon.
So, I mean, what makes, talking of Frontier, and what do you think makes Frontier a perfect fit for working on Jurassic World Evolution?
So there's a couple of reasons, I think. I mean, the first one is that the games we make, we have a passion for the genre or the topic they're in. So we're making them really dangerous, people love space, astronomy, and the passion was there in the team. With Planet Coaster, I mean, we've got a pedigree of doing sort of theme park games anyway, but there's a huge love for theme parks and roller coasters in the team that made that. And, for Jurassic World, who doesn't love dinosaurs? I mean, the enthusiasm on the team is just beyond this world. But sort of more than that, I think you also look at the history of the games that we've made at Frontier. And when I joined the company back in 2003, we were working on a game called Dog's Life, which if you've been to the museum, you might have had a little play at. And in that, you basically controlled a dog called Jake. And since then, we've done the Wild expansion for Rusty 3, we've done Zoo Tycoon, we've done Kinectimals. So we've got a history of just bringing animals to life in computer games. And dinosaurs is the ultimate challenge, but one we're very happy to be taking on.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So, build your own Jurassic World. That is I think it is on the trailer. Yeah, that's the sort of tagline of the trailer, used on our social media as well. I think that people have been waiting, people at home, I know we're watching, and maybe some of you guys in the audience, waiting for quite a while for a game just like this, a game where you build your own Jurassic World. So why don't we tell people actually what the game's going to be about?
Yeah, well, build your own Jurassic World. We think this is the core fantasy, really, that's in the movies. You're in an incredible island setting. You can bioengineer amazing dinosaurs, attract visitors and guests, try to keep them safe, and build a business, build a dinosaur enterprise. That's kind of what we see in the films. That's what we want to give players to play with themselves.
Well, I think we've actually got a taste of that as well. Why don't we take a look at the very first in-game screenshot of Jurassic World Evolution? So what do you think there? What do you think, ladies and gentlemen? Go on, a round of applause, please. It looks absolutely amazing.
I think everyone was just stunned.
Yes, for a second. Yeah. So this is an in-game screenshot?
It's an in-engine.
In-engine screenshot, yeah.
That's right. So this is an example of the kind of island you might be playing on. You've got some building infrastructure in the back there. It's the workings of your park. You've got dinosaurs roaming, of course. And the thing I want to point out about this is, it's not just one island. We're going to base the game across 5 islands. So that's the 5 deaths, the Cinco Muertes, as fans will know them. And they're the kind of core kind of locations in the game. There's also Isla Nublar, but we're not going to reveal too much about how that fits into the game just yet. But the cool thing about having these multiple islands is each one has its own characteristics and its own kind of challenges to throw at the player. And of course, each one represents a kind of clean slate as well. So every time you kind of expand your empire, you expand your operation strength, you're able to gain access to more resources, more dinosaurs, of course. And you can approach potentially each new island in a new way. So there's a few different ways that you can kind of approach your dinosaur facilities.
Yeah, there's sort of I think you mentioned to me earlier about the 3 different paths as well that you can take.
So I think we're about to see the best screenshot you're ever going to see.
This is the most impressive slide of the entire.
It is. We crafted that long and hard. So the ultimate aim for the player is to become the preeminent dinosaur management expert. And there's 3 paths to do that, as you can see, so eloquently illustrated: entertainment, security, and science. So entertainment, that sort of follows the sort of the dream of John Hammond and then Claire Dearing in Jurassic World, where the dinosaurs are attractions. You're basically using them to attract tourists and make money that way. With security, it's about how fierce you can get your dinosaurs, how dangerous they can become, and also being able to manage such dangerous animals. So there's a very big risk-reward thing there. And then with the science, it's more about understanding how they lived, what they were. So they all balance out. And the idea is that you can follow all 3 and you get this nice sort of balanced, or you can just follow one of the paths. It's completely up to you. However, what you're doing is you're assembling these team of experts that represent each of these. And so ideally, you want all 3 on your side, but they have competing reputations. So they want resources from you. So that brings a bit more challenge into the gameplay. And they do that through contracts. So essentially, they give you tasks that they want to do. So these are specific targeted things like create a complete genome for a specific dinosaur, or make sure you've constructed certain facilities, or that's the sort of gameplay challenges that come up.
Yeah, so before we move on, I think you've got a point on it. I just want to say, that was a lot of information there. So please, a round of applause for Mike Brooks, please. A lot of information in like 1 minute. Thank you. You've got some more to tell us about, Andy, even more information.
Sure, so that's kind of some of the core management concepts in the game. But there's this cool layer of management above that, which is like managing disasters. So we all know from the movies, things don't always go to plan. In fact, they usually don't go to plan. And this is something we really want to kind of represent in the game and have as a kind of engaging gameplay system. So on the islands, you'll come across various kind of emergency situations. Like one of them might be heavy tropical storms that will play havoc for your infrastructure of your park in very obvious ways. They're very bad for you.
These are in-engine shots again, sorry?
Sorry, these are in-game screenshots, yeah, yep. So these are taken from the game. So this will kind of, cause damage in your park. It will cause, upset for your dinosaurs, which you don't want, obviously, when you've got visitors and guests roaming around. And the key thing here is to make this part of the gameplay loop, to make it so that players are trying to mitigate these problems as much as possible. When they happen, they can respond to them and react, which is really cool. And then actually go on and pick up the pieces and keep their business running. So it's a cool kind of counterpoint to the building gameplay that you normally have in management games.
Well, we've seen this tried a few times in the movies, people trying to make a Jurassic World, and it doesn't usually go very well.
No, as I said, it very rarely goes well. It often goes wrong, but we do want to give the players the opportunity to realise that original Jurassic Park dream of John Hammond and Claire Dearing, and put that inherent peril of looking after giant dinosaurs into the hands of our community, and see what they would do, and see how they could manage to run one of those.
But yeah, I mean, you are all clearly fans of the Jurassic, lore as well. So how do you go about making sure that lore makes its way into our game as well?
So when we started, before we started making the game, we did a huge amount of research. We rewatched the films over and over again, reread the books.
It was terrible.
We have hard jobs. Also visiting fan sites, where people just endlessly analyse the film and just learnt about the lore and the history of, the stories that they told. And we really wanted to make sure that we brought that into the game. So one of the ways that we're doing it, there will be others, but for now we're just talking about, is the InGen database. And as you play the game, you unlock little snippets of information. Some of that's helpful to guiding gameplay, but others are all about how things link with the films that went before. So you just keep unlocking this little codex of information.
Fascinating stuff. Yeah, it looks really interesting. So we are bioengineering the dinosaurs as well. Is that something? Because in the trailer, you see the lab at the start and then the cracking egg with the eye poking through. Is that something? Are we going to have the dinosaurs all the way from the very beginning? Are we going to work with them all the way?
So yeah, you will be bioengineering the dinosaurs yourself. You start at the start. You will be sending fossil dig teams around the world to real-life fossil sites, getting back your dinosaur bones, extracting the DNA from them, building the genome. You could even make slight adjustments to the genome to adapt the dinosaur attributes as well. And really, it's about, again, trying to key into the science of the movies. It's such a core thing that underpins those films, and we want it to be represented in this game. And of course, once you've kind of got your completed genome, you need to incubate your dino and let it free in your park.
Yes.
Well, I think we've got another screenshot as well, moving on to the hatchery.
There we go. So once the dinosaurs mature enough to be released onto the island, that's all done through the hatchery. But the dinosaurs are then a living thing that you have to look after. I mean, if you remember back in the first film, you got the lovely scene with the vet, Jerry Harding, with his sick Triceratops. And, that can happen if you don't look after those dinosaurs properly. So you need to make sure that you take preventative action, keep them as healthy as possible. But even if you get everything right, as Ian Malcolm says, sometimes life finds a way.
Just need that little nudge every now and again. Round of applause for movie reference. Two, well done. 2 in 1 sentence. I think that we're all very self-obsessed. That's what I was going to say. Now, humans are quite self-obsessed, but of course the real stars of the show in Jurassic World and Jurassic Park is the dinosaurs, isn't it, Nick?
It absolutely is the dinosaurs. So while this is a management game at heart, we really wanted to get the dinosaurs right. So when we first started looking to make this game, we set our art targets and our animation targets squarely at the quality of the film. We didn't just want to make the best dinosaurs that we'd seen in video games in the past. We wanted to make some of the best dinosaurs that people have seen, full stop. And that was a nice, crazy high expectation to set my animation team. They enjoyed that. And as we can see here, this is a render of one of the actual in-game assets. This is our Parasaurolophus, and this is exactly the same as the model that you'll see in the actual game. It's an incredibly high level of detail. Our character artists have really outdone themselves and created truly amazing levels of detail with these. We've worked very closely with our partners at Universal, and they've actually been kind enough to send us some models actually from the Jurassic World films, which we've retopologized and put directly into our game as well. So there's a level of authenticity that is, it's on par with the films. It's absolutely perfect. And then this incredible character art is combined with some of the best animators in the industry, some incredible audio guys, and some fascinating behavior and locomotion code that's come across to create some of the most believable animals we've ever done. And as Michael alluded to earlier, we've got over 10 years' experience of doing animal animation. It's something we do really well. It's the reason I came to Frontier, actually, was when we started working on Connectimals. Oh, wow. I was blown away with the kind of animation work that we managed to do there, how believable the animals were in that. And we've managed to take all of that, and this is really the accumulation of all this work. And so we're going to put it all together and hopefully create some creatures in this game that surpass anything Frontier's ever done before.
Well, they look like this, right?
They look like this. Well, this is it. This is the T-Rex in the game. They've done all right. Yeah. They've done all right.
But I'm pretty sure that people might want to see all this come together and maybe have a look at Jurassic World Evolution. Mike? Yes? Oh, yes.
Yeah. I kind of
I don't know. I think we need a bit more enthusiasm than that. Do you want to see it?
I can't hear you.
All righty then. So what we're going to see now is some in-game footage from one of the islands. It's Isla Matanceros, and some of the incredible stars of the show. Let's have a look.
I think you can give yourselves a round of applause on that. Come on. Yeah. Please show your appreciation. I think it's absolutely, in-game. That's how it's going to look in-game already. It's amazing. And I can't wait to see what everybody at home thinks of that as well, and picking each part and having a look through all the amazing shots that we see in there. And we can't wait, I'm sure you agree, to share more about Jurassic World Evolution in the coming months.
Of course.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic stuff. So, please, a huge round of applause for our Jurassic World Evolution guests here today. Nick Rogers, Andy Fletcher, and Michael Brooks. Yes. Very exciting. I got to stand on stage while the Jurassic Park music played.